2019. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast, Wednesday Night Wars. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan, and making his triumphant return to the podcast, Justin LaBar.
Triumphant, huh?
Well, it's been a while, man.
I was on last week. You weren't on.
Oh, there you go. I just feel like you've been away so long. Maybe it was the week before you were gone.
I mean, it's a triumphant return of talking to you, but I've been here. You've been off doing Broadway and whatever the hell else. You know.
It's true. Traipsing around New York. Matt, how you doing, man?
Not putting over the fact that you just used that word and you paused because you thought we would, but I'm not.
Seldom does Matt Morgan traipse.
I was in my head impressed, though, for what it's worth. Yeah, good. I was telling you before the show, I'm not feeling too hot tonight, but it's not going to stop me from entertaining you that may have not been entertained by tonight's shows.
Yes.
You should be.
Stay tuned. Matt Morgan could pull a draws right here.
Yeah.
On the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
I'm not even going to attempt to do it.
Why? I mean, I feel terrible about what happened to Draws, and there's been a lot of stories about it, but let's go back to the first place. Why did Vince McMahon think this is a gimmick we got to get on TV?
I don't know.
Immediately.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, but think about the time. What? No, seriously, think about the time.
Jerry Springer.
WWF's leading brand. WWF and South Park are duking it out for the leading brand. So when you find a guy that can regurgitate on command, I mean, you're thinking money, right?
Shock factor, yes.
Yeah.
Money, I don't know.
He's gotta puke.
I watched that just recently, Beyond the Mat, and he was so matter of fact, so sure of himself in that interview. And the guy's like in the ivory tower with him at his desk, and he's eating. He's just so like matter of fact. Like it's hilarious to watch.
Here's my favorite in that scene. Here's my favorite reenactment of Vince with the water bottle and everything. And then they'll find out what we're really all about.
Yes,
making movies.
Yes, that's exactly it.
That's exactly. He goes making movies, and then he takes a big gulp of water, and he's so satisfied of himself.
He was incredibly impressed with himself during that.
He revealed the WWE Studios plan years before, right there on Beyond the Mat. And for those of you that are listening to the audio only, you're losing out. You're missing the visual here.
That was a very good impersonation. That was like spot on.
It's amazing that in the late 90s, both Beyond the Mat and Wrestling with Shadows, Vince McMahon and WWE thought it would be a good idea to let cameras in without the WWE having any control or approval over what happened to the footage.
It still is entertaining to this day. It still holds. I love watching both. I swear to God, I do.
Yeah. They're great. Wrestling with Shadows is one of my favorite documentaries ever.
I mean, who can forget the guy on the trampoline with the shaker weights, just waiting to get booked? Dennis, whatever his name is, jumping around in a Speedo at like 54 years old. He hadn't been booked in 9 years, but you never know when the phone's going to ring. And Terry Funk's like begging him to be the referee.
I wish we could get documentaries like that these days. Anyhow, tonight we had AEW Dynamite. We had WWE's NXT on USA. Some big news came out about AEW's next pay-per-view. It's going to be called Revolution. Am I the only one that instantly thought about NXT having that pay-per-view, our Evolution, essentially Revolution a few years ago?
I thought of WWE right away.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I was more drawn to the fact they're going back to Chicago again.
Yeah. I wonder if they found that's their most tried and true market. It seems like it as far as ticket sales.
It has been thus far, yeah.
We got a new number one contender on NXT tonight for Adam Cole's championship. A lot of good stuff to talk about. A lot of good stuff to get into and dig into between both shows. On the high level, just to sort of tease people and what we're going to talk about, Matt, which did you think was better tonight?
AEW.
Justin?
Yeah, I found myself, because I watch them both live, I found myself a little bit more on AEW. But that's not a knock on NXT. It's just AEW is just keeping me with a little bit more of like a must-see at the moment.
More intriguing still.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still the newness. I don't know what it is. It's just more intriguing.
I agree with that overall, but I have to say on the women's division side tonight, NXT just again
it always will. It always will until they change it.
And let me be fair, because again, it's funny. I used to be labeled as the WWE kiss ass, and now I get slammed as that I'm bashing NXT when I enjoy NXT. AEW is very intriguing. That's the right word, Matt. But I will say there are certain things about them. The new car smell is going away at times, and there are more things. There are more things each week about AEW that I find myself getting critical of.
Me too.
Whether it's a referee, whether it's the women, whatever, I find myself starting to get like, okay, that the new car smell is gone. That needs to be fixed.
The women is for me the go-to every episode. For me, it is. Yeah. I like the Kong stuff. I do. I it's just, but that's it. Like everybody else is just. I love Doc. Doc, making names up here. Britt Baker. I like her. And there's others as well, but just they could do not defeat.
Freddie Mercury tonight needs to go.
Bounce already. Seriously, get off my TV set.
And it's weird.
I know she's a vet. I know she's 43. I know that she's been wrestling.
I don't care. I'm 43 too, and I'm a vet. I'm not on your TV set.
She's been wrestling since she was in diapers. Just not.
Am I going out there pretending to be Axl Rose? No.
Hell of a gimmick, though.
I'd love to see it. Could you do his monkey dance he does in Welcome to the Jungle's music video?
I don't know. I mean, Justin's been successfully riding this Fred Durst thing into middle age. So, hey, cosplay can be an art form.
Middle age? I'm early 30s, you prick. Come on.
No, I think cosplay. I mean, look, Leva Bates proved it. Cosplay could be such an art form in and of itself in wrestling. But if you're doing the same gimmick every time,
I don't get Freddie Mercury from this, though. I never have. They've said it, and I remember going, "What? That's what that bleep is? That crap is?" I remember saying that. Those exact words. I did not know that was supposed to be Freddie Mercury.
She's a very good wrestler. I think she's got a lot of experience, but yeah, it's just one of those gimmicks that
she's got a lot of experience, but tonight did not show that she was a very good wrestler.
No,
okay.
In my opinion.
Much better wrestlers than her.
We're gonna break down both shows, but first, let's get our sponsor out of the way. Welcome back to the show, Blue Chew, BlueChew.com. Guys, you remember the days when you were always ready to go? Well, here's the deal. Picture like a quantum leap scenario. Picture if you could leap back into your own body and have the same abilities you had in your early 20s, but you still have all the knowledge of present events. Now, when you're there, much like Sam Beckett in Quantum Leap, you're there on a mission, and you know what that mission is. Blue Chew is going to help you get it done and feel like you're significantly younger. They're going to put the pep back in your step, give you that increased performance and extra confidence in bed at BlueChew.com. That's blue like the color blue. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. So this is the real stuff. This is the science, the stuff that works. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they are chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill. So you can be ready whenever that opportunity arises. Anytime is go time with Blue Chew. If you could benefit from more confidence where it counts, Blue Chew is the fast and easy way to enhance your performance. Now, Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office and you don't have to wait in line at the pharmacy. It even ships right to your door in a discreet package. They are made in the USA, patriotism, and Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, so they're cheaper than a pharmacy. And best of all, there is no more awkwardness. Right now, we have a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com. Get your first shipment free when you use our special promo code WINC. Just pay $5 shipping. Again, that's BLUEChew.com, promo code WINC to try it free. And here's the deal. Christmas is 2 weeks away. You have a partner. Maybe you have a husband. Maybe you have a wife. But if you're a man, maybe you have a girlfriend. Maybe you have a boyfriend. I don't know. But for Christmas, yes, as Justin said, stocking stuffer, this is your chance to give a gift to your partner, but more importantly, give a gift to yourself with BlueChew.com. Promo code WINC to try it free. Blue Chew, the better, cheaper, faster choice. And we thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Let's talk AEW. Jon Moxley out to open the show tonight. Very, very quick squash match there. What did you make of this, Matt? I mean, it was very attention-getting.
Over who?
He had a win over Alex Reynolds, who was out there with John Silver, and he pretty much pounced both of them for the fastest match in AEW history.
Just making sure you said that.
Yes.
Very, very well served and very good transition into what the meat on the bones of this segment was, which was the Inner Circle and Jericho coming out and leading into their in-ring promo, which I thought was very good. Very good business tonight was had in that ring.
I thought Jericho and Moxley, and this is something tonight where they just trounced NXT. NXT opening with that cruiserweight match. While it was a fantastic match, you can't beat this kind of star power having arguably your two biggest stars on the brand open the show.
and ripping it on the mic tonight, both.
And how fast they got into it. That's actually one of the things that when I watch side by side that I feel that AEW has lacked is AEW has started out. They've had a lot more video packages recapping things. They jumped right into it. Before, NXT was just getting their video packages out, and all of a sudden you see Moxley come out of the crowd. I stood there because we don't normally see that, so I thought, okay, something's about to go down. So I thought that was a great start, and as Matt said, they quickly got to the meat on the bone and got to the point, which I thought was a good way for them to start here.
And they sold tickets.
Yeah. This is going to be a good match when it happens. So tonight, Jericho invited Moxley to join the Inner Circle. Jericho ran down their history together, gave him a free Inner Circle t-shirt. So, it's like going to a timeshare presentation where you get a gift for listening to the pitch. I love Jericho talking about their past together. I even love the alluded reference to Renee, talking about his lovely wife, talking about the thumbtacks, the stuff they put each other through in the past. I think this is being built so well, this match, for when it happens. So far, yeah, it's hard to knock it. It's really good. So everyone always says it's Jericho and Cody. Well, here's, And
that's my question. When are we building to? They just announced the next pay-per-view is the last Saturday in February. Are we building to that, or is this going to be a big AEW Dynamite episode where we get that as the main event?
I don't know how they stretch that.
Long. They could. Well, here's how. That Jericho has he has an entire posse around him. You could if you make Moxley go through all of
them. Yeah, there you go. That's a great answer, actually.
Yeah, I feel like both with this and NXT, right? I'll be shocked if NXT gives us both of those title matches in full next week that they're promising us. I'll be shocked if AEW gives us Jericho versus Moxley in full before the next pay-per-view. It's a mistake not to have it on pay-per-view. I know it's a long time to get to, but that's a money match, and they need to make money. So. Man, you talk about if they do Cody versus MJF at Revolution, if they do Moxley versus Jericho, this, I think, could just be a huge, huge moment for AEW. It could be, because we'll see now the pay-per-views won't run head-to-head against each other, but we can still compare the cards, right? And it's going to be very difficult for NXT using their stars only. Now, keep that in mind. Not just going up to the roster and stealing AJ Styles or Roman Reigns for a night. Not that crap. But using their talents. That's going to be a very tough top semi-main and main to beat. Yeah. We went from that to Cody teaming with QT Marshall against the Butcher and the Blade with the Bunny. This was a major drop-off for me. Who is QT Marshall? Am I missing something? Yeah, you are.
He's a trainer at the Monster Factory, I believe. Was where he started. Now he works with them as a producer / It was the Monster Factory?
He may have used to be, but he has his own school, I believe, in Georgia now. Okay. I met him at TNA. He was trying to get work there at the time. Nice guy, very good wrestler. Ring of Honor, he did really good work there. Has a cool throwback character that he used to do, I believe, with a robe, the whole nine. But nobody else knows that. Mm-hmm. And he's the guy who eats the apple. He's a friend. I like QT. So I'm not trying to knock him personally, but just as far I'm trying to look at this from a normal fan's perspective that may not be watching Being the Elite or even the AEW YouTube channel. And if you don't watch that, you have no idea who the hell this guy is. You have no clue who he is. He just looks like a backstage hand tagging with Cody Rhodes all of a sudden. You don't know there's a connection between those two, and there's a friendship between those two and a bond between those two. You have no idea. And then they're in the ring with the Blade and the Butcher and the Bunny, which is, again, another friend of mine I like a lot, but the gimmick is freaking lame as shit. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. Oh, no. It looks like a cautionary tale of why you don't answer Craigslist ads. It's some creepy shit going on there. It's corny as hell. I'm sorry. I hate saying this. It's like fucking shitting on your own friends. You know what I mean? I don't like doing that.
What shocks me about the trio there is that the guy that plays Blade, he's not a
he's my friend, and he's good.
He used to be here with us on IWC as Pepper Parks.
He's shredded. He needs to shave his head and be a single star. I don't know.
Right. What shocks me, he's a good-looking dude, and he's
very good looking,
and he's wearing a mask in his entrance.
He is.
You know, normally you put a mask on somebody that you don't think. I mean, but so that throws me off.
He needs to shave his head and keep his beard in. Because he is a really, like, that's what he was with TNA. He's a good looking dude that chicks want to be with, and guys want to be like kind of sort of. It needs to be a singles act because he's more than good enough and capable of doing it.
The Pulp Fiction mask, I think, just.
But you want to be, but to speak on, I've not talked to him about it. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years. But what I was going to say is, sometimes when you're looking for work and you want to get back on TV, do you know what I mean? You you do what you're asked. Do you know what I'm saying? Just to get that foot back in the door, and then probably fingers crossed they change it once they see, oh wait, what are we doing with these two? Why are we having this guy tag with him?
Yeah, him in a mask. I mean, Allie. She obviously she's great on the eyes. There's the bunny thing. The butcher dude, he looks like he's from the '80s territory. He's got an interesting look to him.
Totally, he needs to be on NWA. What do you call it?
The NWA Power. Yeah.
Yes, he'd be perfect there.
I think he's a musician too. By the way, I don't know a lot about him, but I think he's in some band.
I feel like Allie, the bunny part is the part that works the best with this. But you pair her with those guys, and like the throwback look, he looks like the stereotype of like an '80s leather daddy. Remember in Police Academy when they tricked people going into that, what was it, the Blue Oyster Bar? This looks right out of that. Right out of that. And that is not a good thing. Normally I'm a fan of Police Academy references. But Allie, though, I think stands out still with the bunny gimmick. But this match, it was okay, but the Butcher and the Blade did win via pinfall. So I guess Cody's going to pivot to Darby Allin, who went down to the ring after this match, got into Cody's face, extended his hand up. There was a nod. I don't know. I mean, what do you do with Cody next? Do you keep him with the Butcher and the Blade? Do Darby and him form an alliance and take on the Butcher and the Blade? Do Darby and him feud?
Maybe.
What's the next step?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. That's why I'll tune in.
You know what it feels like? It feels like, I know I'm jumping ahead here, so we're going to get MJF versus Cody eventually. So maybe the pay-per-view at the end of February. It feels like the Bunny Butcher Blade problem with Cody is almost like to buy them time, to give Cody something to buy time until he gets to the pay-per-view. That's kind of what it feels like.
And this was a week of it right now. Yes. Yeah. But again, not the best use of Pepper Parks. Pepper Parks is a fine talent on his own and can get over on his own. He doesn't need this stupid gimmick.
Yes, and as Greg Barnett's pointing out, no worse than the Viking experience or the Viking Raiders. I mean,
I did like their finisher though, with Butcher doing the suplex into like the backstabber. I thought that was nice. It was a nice sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people are speculating in the chat that it will be that Darby tweeted he's going to be helping Cody with the Butcher and the Blade going forward. So that's how you extend it. Let's talk about MJF coming out to the ring with Wardlow tonight. And MJF getting some nice extended promo time, just calling out members of the TNT crew, calling out Cody, really going off on Cody, making fun of his lisp, saying he's got Gary Busey teeth. Man, that's a portrait right there. And that he's not going to announce the stipulations that he has for wrestling Cody until Jacksonville on January 1st. So clearly this is being built to the pay-per-view. Matt, where do you think this ranked in the order of MJF promos?
Tough, because his other work is so damn good, right? I mean, everything, he ballparks every promo. He does. This was great. He looked like a big time star, which he is.
Yeah. Justin, how do you think MJF is going so far?
So far, good. I mean, they've he's not the only one, but they've done a good job protecting him. I mean, we really haven't seen him, and I'm just talking about since they've been on TNT.
Wrestling.
We really haven't seen him wrestle, but he still comes off as a big deal. So that's pretty cool. The fact that the guy hasn't had to like put in work for a match, but he still feels like a big deal. That's some good smoke and mirrors. Obviously he's got Wardlow standing behind him. Wardlow hasn't had to do much since he made his debut and choked out Cody. So like obviously that's a whole advertisement gimmick right there. Is maybe it's Cody versus Wardlow one week in this long build to the So I mean, like they're doing a good job like giving us stuff, but not unloading the house. I mean, we haven't seen Jake Hager have a match. I mean, that's again. So maybe as Moxley has to go the gauntlet to get to Jericho. So and from that regard of booking, it truly does make them look superior to WWE, that they are thinking things they're thinking things out, but they're not overthinking. If that makes sense.
They're generally 6 months to a year out in their booking, is what I continue to hear them say.
Yeah.
So, and then they go backwards,
which is how it should be.
Absolutely.
So we got to be, even on some of those tougher weeks to watch the show, we got to continue to hang in there because we want a wrestling company to continue to write their shows this way. We got to hang in there and show them we don't have these short span attention spans that WWE accuses of all of us fans having, and that's why they're catering and giving us everything every single week with no storylines involved. Generally speaking, they're very fast forwarded, those storylines, because they say we as fans don't have the capability of hanging in there longer. And it's like, well, no, that's not what it is. It's we don't trust you anymore because you've broken our trust thousands and thousands and thousands of times. It's not our attention span. We want the wrestling to be like that. We don't trust you to serve it to us that way anymore with long-term storylines. You give up on them way too early and you break our trust.
Yeah.
AEW, we got to hang in there for their sake, I'm saying. And I'm not saying we can't be critical, but I'm saying like we can't just go bananas that we're not getting like Cody versus MJF tomorrow or next month or whatnot, because we don't want them to ever stop thinking and writing the show that way, year to 6 months in advance, you know?
And it helps for AEW. They only have 2 hours of live TV to do a week.
It does.
Versus WWE having 7 if you include all 3 brands.
Sometimes though, dude, it does have holes in there. Like when no offense to Brandon Cutler, but like Brandon Cutler will have to fill time sometimes and come out and do a match, and it's like,
sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
WWE is such a friggin' stacked roster. They don't really have.
Well, the 2 hours of live TV comes a problem is when if they try to rely. Matt, I know you're a big fan, but like I don't watch every week. If they try to rely on, if you watch Be in the Elite, that'll piece holes together. That becomes a problem if they expect everybody to understand what's going on their YouTube special.
But do they say that though? I don't think they say that.
They don't. But like
I reference Dark a lot.
Well, but even AEW, you have to rely on people sometimes to watch Dark to maybe fill in a hole. Where's this person been? Or the fact that like Adam Page, Hangman Page left being the
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I didn't here, full disclosure, I didn't know that until I read Twitter and somebody said, if you watch BTE. So that made me feel out of the loop that I know you're a fan of it, but like little things like that.
That's pretty big actually. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they that is one time I guess we're only having 2 hours of TV and you're hoping the rest of your audience is watching the other digital.
So why don't they promote it is what I don't understand.
I don't know.
Put it up at the bottom of the damn third screen. It's not hard.
Or just recap more what happens on it. I don't want to feel like I didn't do my homework before watching Dynamite, and I need to watch Dark and Being the Elite to know what's going on.
That's what it feels. That's what it feels like. Homework. I felt when I found that out, I felt like I missed class. I was like, I felt stupid. I didn't know that.
Even last week, they put the promo online of MJF saying that he hired the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny.
Yes, I saw Cody. I watched it.
Yeah, why was that online and not on TV?
I don't.
I didn't know that.
Have an answer for that either. It was a good promo, actually. It was another good promo.
Great promo. Tonight, though, the last thing I'll say about it, I thought this was MJF's most overtly Roddy Piper-esque promo that he's done.
You totally stole that off the comment.
No, I thought that when I was talking, and I saw some people on our chat mention it as well. But no, I mean, right? It felt very much, and we know that he's a fan. There was that DM exchange where he tried to buy a Piper statue off a fan. I mean, but tonight, like, this really felt like a little old school in that way.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of you just trying to connect storylines that nobody watches. What Piper statue?
Oh, there was a statue somebody was selling on Twitter, and they were saying, I'll take it to the highest bidder. And MJF was negotiating with the guy, and the guy shared the DMs where it was like MJF like, oh, well, I'll pay you this. And hey, bonus, you could say that you sold it to me. You know, it was funny. This was a few months back.
Was he in character the whole time?
I think he's always in character.
Good.
And
Which I like.
I mean, I saw him backstage at StarCast when Blue Chew sponsored the last one, and MJF was in character the entire time. It was great. That's how it should be.
Yep.
It's part of what makes him so fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, the Dark Order promo tonight, I really, really like this one with Alex Reynolds sitting in his hotel room, and we see the Dark Order spokesperson, and it seems like that typical annoying thing you tune out in your hotel, talking about the amenities, but then addressing him directly. Aren't you tired of being a jobber, Alex? Tapping on the TV to get his attention and trying to recruit him to join the Dark Order. And I think that, I'm sorry, man.
I was going to say, this was really well done.
Yeah. Just the right amount of Evil Uno. I feel like in some of the past, they've done a little too much of him, but tonight was perfect. Just a glimpse.
Mm-hmm. Creative. I thought this was really creative.
Justin, do you think their matches now can sort of live up to this?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I still don't. No, I don't want their matches. I want more of these. I
No.
love these vignettes and pre-tapes. I love them. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, to answer your question, no. At the moment, no. I think right now I would be fine if I didn't see them have a match for a couple months.
And keep doing these.
Let me put it this way: when the Wyatt family started, I'm talking very, very, very first Wyatt family, like the original of Bray.
Just rocking chair with them around it. And
right.
in the woods. Yeah.
Bray could go, Harper could go. Rowan was the weak spot, and I kind of feel like this Dark Order is a lot of Rowans in the ring. But this stuff, all the vignette stuff is really good. So if they can buy as much time with I know I said it earlier, with smoke and mirrors essentially, and these pre-produced things, that will go a long way.
Question from a fan online from Dave Langer. Would you like to see Hangman Page join the Dark Order? Well, yeah, actually, that might actually not be bad.
That might actually make sense. Again, fast forward, but they're talking about how Hangman Page is at like a crossroads in his career. Wouldn't that be the perfect person for the Dark Order to prey on?
He falls because he's susceptible right now. He's got his boys around him no more. He's on his own for the first time, right?
That would be a great storyline for him. With Dark Order, though, Matt, I mean, could you imagine back in your career if you'd ever gotten a promo or a series of promos so over that it was like, well, people don't even need to see you wrestle. You could just do these promos.
It's the best. That's $1 million. That's like the freaking $1 million dream.
He doesn't have to bump.
It's the best situation you could possibly ever be in. Yeah. You come in, shoot some pre-tapes and bounce. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
The name of the game is getting over and getting reaction. And I have a feeling that
getting paid.
Not the only ones. I think everyone's digging these promos.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Big Swole versus Emi Sakura tonight.
They use Big Swole an awful lot. They use her a lot. Like every dark, it feels like I see her on, or when they need her to do a job.
Well, they just signed her to a contract finally.
Oh, she wasn't signed this whole time. They used her a lot.
She was on a per appearance situation.
But anyways, this was fine for what it was. But this is just no disrespect, but this is minor league compared to the women's wrestling we see on NXT. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, this was going on simultaneously to Mia Yim's match on NXT. So that makes it even worse for when you can look at this side by side.
They should never want us to see that.
Yeah. Big Swole, I think she's got charisma. I like the attitude. I like to see more of her and other opponents. Sakura, is that?
Yeah, I mean Sakura.
Or Sakura. I'm sorry if I'm gonna get whatever. I just not connecting. I don't know if she just hasn't had a lot of. I know she's been around forever, but I don't know if doesn't have a lot of experience on TV or what it is. Just does not feel like I feel like half the time I saw them catch her face, she was getting ready to laugh. Like she was just like almost like she wasn't taking it seriously. Like I don't know. I couldn't connect to her. I don't know. It's just not there for me.
It's just a lack of story, right? And I tweeted this. This is why Mia Yim versus Dakota Kai was so great. Not for a title. It's been built for weeks. It had awesome tension and momentum going into it. And I felt like tonight they were trying to really put Big Swole over, which is great, talking about how she signed her contract, talking about how important this win was for her. But at the same time, I don't feel like they've ever truly developed Emi Sakura on AEW TV. This just felt like a match that just existed.
But yet she's third ranked in the women's division. I'm like, whatever. As they kept telling me.
And all of the storylines in the women's division are about Brandy that aren't even involving matches.
I don't see. I like the Brandy and Kong stuff.
I like the Brandy stuff too, but man, I wish there were some matches and stakes.
No, you know what? I know, again, fast forwarding here. The Brandy stuff's kind of like the Dark Order for me. I'm all fine if you want to milk it and give me these produced vignettes. I'm all fine with that.
But we don't have a lack of men's wrestling. We have a severe lack of good women's storylines in AEW.
That's a good counterpoint.
Yes, but Glenn, don't think that just because if NXT produces on a Wednesday night, let's say they produce 20 minutes of women's wrestling, that doesn't mean AEW needs to produce 20 minutes of women's wrestling too.
I agree.
I would if it means that 10 of the 20 minutes is best doing a profile on Britt Baker, a Kong Brandy thing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to like try to equal minute for minute of match time. It's not.
And they said Riho is going to return on January 1st, which 3 weeks away, but still having your champion be MIA, I think.
Why?
Yeah.
Where is she? I don't even
know.
care. I'll be honest. I don't care. I don't care if she's not on my TV at all. I'm not impressed with her at all.
Yeah, and so Joey Adorjan is saying, well, if you watched AEW Dark, they did a 15-minute segment about the women's division. It's like, again, most people are seeing TV first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where the focus should be. So I thought Big Swole winning tonight was good. I feel like they showcase female talent and then we don't see them again because there's usually one match per week and they're rotating it through so much at the expense of storylines. So Sheeta who's the number one ranked, was in the audience. She looked surprised at the win. Sakura was ranked number 3. I mean,
which, by the way, can I say this? I like AEW doing the thing where they're having contenders or people that are relevant to the story in the ring. I liked having them at the ringside. The reason being, it's a break. Yeah, UFC does this where you'll see somebody in the weight division who's probably going to face the winner is ringside. It doesn't mean the person ringside has to jump the barricade and get in a fight. It doesn't mean that. It's nice because it makes it seem like they're scouting, and it's better than what WWE has hammered down.
Go back to that comment.
Okay.
What was what?
This is important. KCC said, no, AEW just needs to produce good women's wrestling. Take the book from Kenny. I agree with that when it comes to women's wrestling. If it's Kenny that's doing it all, and it feels like it is because it's all his favorite wrestlers that seem to be working on top.
Yeah.
But they should not be. They should be like last place.
Yeah. But I like having these people ringside, and it's better than what WWE has hammered in our minds, which is said talent has to be watching the monitor, acting enthused. I like that they did it with the women. They did it with SCU at the end. I like this whole ringside approach. You know, SCU had a beer in their hand with their titles.
What it should be.
That's what it should be. I like it.
Always be scouting your next future opponents, right?
Exactly. I like it.
Looks real.
Speaking of which, I was distracted tonight. The people in the audience were drinking like soda out of cans. What venue is this that would let fans? I mean, isn't that? I don't know. I was just thinking like most venues normally, Matt, I mean, you've been to concerts, you've been to events, they always pour it in a plastic cup. You get the bottle of water without the lid on it because they don't want you to be able to throw stuff in the audience that would hurt. And I was just like, canned soda, that's a riot waiting to happen. If the could you imagine having a can of soda thrown at you?
I know.
A bottle of piss thrown at me in Puerto Rico. What do you mean?
I know now. I know now.
Cap at least.
That's how I know it was pissed.
The arenas that WWE goes to, the arenas don't always mandate that. I know when WWE goes to arenas, that's a Vince mandate. Vince mandates that they actually pour beer into the plastic cup and don't give you the can. That's part of the whoever's renting the arena. That's part of their mandate. So that's a Vince thing for wrestling. Yeah,
I just thought that was somewhat notable tonight. Pac backstage with Jen Decker. Pac wants a rubber match against Kenny Omega, and if they don't give it to him, he won't be held accountable for what he does next.
Okay, just serve this point.
Yeah, that seems like a good match to have over the holiday break, maybe.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, hell yeah.
Well, because that way it'll be a great match, but if you feel like you've seen that a lot, like that's a good week to do it when viewership might be down anyhow.
I can watch that 10 times in a row, that matchup, honestly.
They are quite good together. Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford and Sean Spears versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Page.
I liked this combo. This was good use of Sabian, Penelope Ford with the chairman. I thought this was good.
And after it was revealed, after Kenny and Page won, Joey Janela had kidnapped Tully, had him tied up in a chair.
Hokey?
Hokey, yeah.
Okay. I like them doing something with Joey, though, for what it's worth.
Yeah. I like the finish. I like the finish of Hangman with the blind tag. I like the springboard they did. I like Omega kind of being like, all right, dude. Like kind of conflict, like happy they won, but kind of disrespected. So
that was good. That was
good. I'm
do it either. Normally I would say he's overacting again.
Yeah.
That was actually really good. I thought a good job by him on that.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty critical of Kenny Omega, but I liked how that all went down.
Yep. It was just subtle enough.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? Slightly above subtle.
Yep.
But not
Yep.
freaking pointing where he's going to run at the ropes and all the crazy stuff he normally does.
Yes.
We got the back. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just saying, which I hate. I hate that he points at what ropes he's going to.
We got the backstage or the pre-taped vignette from Brandy Rhodes, who
Loved it.
asked. She asked what the women's division would look like without her. She wonders if AEW Women's World Champion Rio has gotten so small that we can't even see her, wondering why she hasn't defended. She ripped on Britt Baker as a pathetic groupie with how much she mentions her boyfriend, and telling Chris Statlander that the offer's on the table to join the group as Melanie Cruz entered the scene now with a shaved head. Brandy looks to have added a new man to the Nightmare Collective, but his back's to the camera, and she does not say who it is yet.
He filled the role that I wanted. I would gladly donate what's left and join that group. I'm intrigued, but I really do like this Brandy Kong thing. I like it.
Me too. Me too. I love it. I do. I like it a lot.
And then we had Chris Jericho and Jake Hager on commentary, putting Tony Schiavone and Excalibur from the table, while we had Sammy Guevara versus Luchasaurus.
This was cool. This, to me, was unexpected. I didn't know we'd get this matchup.
Luchasaurus winning by pinfall over Sammy. But Matt, what do you make about Jericho and Hager coming to the ring, and Marco Stunt slid in for like a 1-2-3 count?
Nah. I don't like anything with Marco Stunt. What can I tell you? I don't, because this was really good. A good win, great win for Luchasaurus, first and foremost. But what would you ask me again? What didn't I like?
Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy like getting the better of Jericho and Hager in this face-off here.
What can we say? I'm sure we're all thinking it.
Well, I mean, Jungle Boy had to get something because they're promoting this match.
Yes.
Yeah, he had to get something because they're promoting a match with he and Jericho. So you had to give him like a little bit of like a hope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I will say this to go backwards with Jericho and Hager on commentary. I thought it was hilarious.
They were great.
Well, I thought it was hilarious too. Hager takes Shivani's seat and he has a headset. He never said one word. A couple times Jericho tossed to him and then Jericho answered for him. It was like a small thing. Yeah. But it was funny as hell.
It was.
You know.
It was great. I like the segment. Yeah. Not so happy, like ecstatic about the Marco Stunt stuff, but
what about calling Jungle Boy Jungle Jack Perry? Tonight they really
problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all.
I mean,
because here's the thing. He's not gonna be Jungle Boy eventually.
Yeah.
Like, what happens when he's older? And you still gonna call him Jungle Boy?
Well, Kid Rock's 48 and he's still Kid Rock.
That's a good point.
Valid point.
Good point.
Mind blown. Wow. I mean, Justin, just
as Fred Durst would say.
Yeah, hold on. Give it up for Justin LaBar, everyone. Justin gets
God.
Special shout out this week.
What? Do you just have like these things waiting?
Yes, he does. Sadly enough.
And I didn't want to interrupt you on your blue chew and say like Fred Durst says, do it all for the nookie. And here you are with our Fred Durst background.
Oh, God. You had a way to step on your own pop there, Justin. You were doing good. No, but here, listen to this though. Here's the thing: is with Jim Ross is trying to get this kid over. That's what people need to pay attention to. They need to stop bitching and moaning like, "Oh, why can't you just call him Jungle Boy?" He's Jim Ross. He's a Hall of Famer. He's not doing it to begrudge the kid. He's trying to get this kid over. You could feel it and tell. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could tell he lights up a little bit more when he's doing his matches normally. Because that's where it all started, with Jim Ross calling him that. So that's an honor. I know if I was in that ring, you know what I mean, Jim Ross was trying to get me over like that, I'd be damn proud of that, and I'd be happy. That's what the forefront needs to be. That's what the main gist of this needs to be. Not, why can't you just call him Jungle Boy?
I think he is a star. I think that it was cool, though, that he was Jungle Boy, and then people would say, not on the air, but be like, oh, he's Luke Perry's son. Like that was like a nice little bit of trivia. But tonight with Jericho pointing that out, talking about him being Hollywood, I feel like it takes away from what he's built on his own. I mean, Matt, hypothetically, when you were the Blueprint if someone's like, that's Matt Morgan. He's the grandson of Harry Morgan from MASH and Dragnet. Be like, hey, man, this blueprint thing built itself.
Yes, but that's the thing. If his dad was a wrestler, I could see that. But his dad has nothing to do with wrestling. He's not a wrestler. So he's not living off his dad's legacy in the ring. His dad did something completely different and was famous for something completely out of this genre. Okay. So it doesn't step on his own stuff, so to speak. In my opinion, it adds to it.
Yeah. I think he's a star regardless, but I feel like
he definitely is. But dude, what's up with his gear? Why does he always look like he's wearing underwear? Like, why don't they look like wrestling trunks?
I don't know. Why's he got Felicity's haircut from 1996? I mean, life is a mystery, man.
All I know is freaking women love him. Like, women love him. So he's gonna be even big, much bigger than what he is now. He's gonna be a big star.
Felicity from '96, Police Academy. The references are insane on this show.
The fans don't even understand any of them.
So the main event tonight, the Young Bucks versus Santana and Ortiz. This was the number one contender street fight for the AEW World Tag Team titles.
Go ahead.
So what happened before the match? Santana and Ortiz did a sneak attack on the Young Bucks. Brandon Cutler came out to try and help, but he got powerbombed through a portion of the stage. Sammy Guevara comes out to help. Tables put up. Santana attempts to climb up and fly, but he's sent off stage momentarily. Matt and Nick hit the Indie Taker on Sammy on the stage. Ortiz is dropped and put on the table. Matt punches away as Nick hits a senton off the top of the entrance. Goes for the cover. SCU is in the ringside watching the match. Then we went into the ring and finally got the match underway between the Bucks and Santana and Ortiz. When it's
warranted, I like these kind of starts. This is one of those things. I go back to like the Brett versus Shaw Montreal Screwjob. I love when matches have all kinds of hoopla before the match even officially starts. I think it provides you so much creative leeway. So the fact that this is a street fight, I love the fact that like this match the beatdown started before the bell officially rings. I don't know. I thought that added something to this, and it caught my attention.
It does. I've been seeing them do this on other shows. Like I forget where I saw this on YouTube. I could have sworn I've seen this. Like I had deja vu of that whole beginning sequence, and I want to say it happened maybe to close one of their shows. I'm being serious. I don't know why I deja vu, but I just did. It was good though. It was a great way to start this thing off, like exactly what you said, Justin. It was.
Yeah.
So we ended with the Bucks winning. They're now the number one contenders for the AEW Tag Team Championships.
Damn time.
But it's gonna happen next week on free TV.
Good. Get the titles. Be the most over tag team in wrestling, like you guys are supposed to be and are.
And they need to compete against NXT, which we'll talk about because NXT is loading up for next week.
Yes.
So that was AEW. Now, I did not see all of last week's show. I watched part of it in the airport while I was like going back and forth between two TVs to watch NXT. But in the grand scheme of things, how do you think this stacked up, Matt? This definitely seemed better than whatever that episode was 2 weeks ago that we thought. The one before Thanksgiving that was a bit of a slouch.
Right. I loved the episode. I thought it was good. Yeah.
Justin, last point before we move on. Do you think they're making a mistake, though, almost too much by relying on Jericho this much? We do get great episodes when he does it, but he's clearly the star of the show.
As he should be. He's being paid more money than anybody else. He has more credibility and a deeper resume than anybody else.
And he's spreading him. He's getting other talents over.
I mean, look, they have this match next week as a 10-minute time limit against Jungle Boy. He's going to make Jungle Boy the biggest star he's ever been. I mean, Chris Jericho at 40, whatever he is, he's just
awesome. Freaking awesome.
He's awesome. He evolves. He just has this ability to just constantly evolve and find ways to get new things over. He got a list over a couple of years ago in WWE, and then was it last week or 2 weeks ago or last week?
Dude,
we think he's going to pull out a list, and he buries his previous list and then goes into this lexicon. I mean, I don't know. It's not a mistake. He is your anchor. You ride him. He is he's your guy. He's your guy. So.
Okay, let's talk NXT. We opened with a video package hyping tonight the triple threat: Finn Balor versus Keith Lee versus Tommaso Ciampa. Cole cut a bit of a promo talking about that he's on the run of his lifetime and he's nowhere near finished.
Mhm.
We started at NXT Arena at Full Sail with Morrow, Nigel McGuinness, and Beth Phoenix on commentary, and went right into an NXT Cruiserweight title match, Angel Garza versus Lio Rush. I think this is the third or fourth time they faced each other.
Mhm.
Hell of a match, a lot of
Mhm.
great spots in it. But the end result was the winner, a new NXT Cruiserweight champion, is Angel Garza.
Terrible decision.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Terrible decision.
Unless they've got some real story for Leo or some next chapter that he's going to embark upon, I just feel like Angel's nowhere near the star Leo is.
He made that title. I just drooled all over myself. He made that title mean something finally.
Yeah.
Yes.
He did.
Yeah, I tweeted it. I'm shocked that I'm not in support of how short Lio Rush's cruiserweight title reign is. I mean, he came back after being off for a while, had a lot of, he had controversy around him, but he's just super entertaining in the ring. Won the title, made this 205 Live title would just become so irrelevant. He brought it back to relevancy. The fact that they were now including it in the NXT brand, and I mean,
who the hell are they going to put there, Justin? In his place that has more charisma, more in-ring ability, the whole package. That kid is the whole package.
I don't know. The only thing I can figure,
heavyweight championship somehow.
No,
ain't gonna happen.
No, he's a $150 soaking wet.
What's Adam Cole? He ain't exactly Arnold.
Well, I've sat next to Adam. He's at least heavier than that.
I know he's much bigger than him. I know.
The only thing I can figure is the fact that Garza then ends up proposing to his girlfriend, and I'm like,
what?
That happened in the commercial?
Oh, yeah, that's right. During commercial, they showed the recap.
Yeah,
what happened?
He brought his girlfriend, who was ringside, in the ring and proposed to her. So unless this was like right. And
I don't care.
I know if Leo wins the title back in like 3 weeks, then they did this. Then this was Triple H's wedding present to Garza.
Yeah, that does seem very WWE.
It was weird. It was just totally weird. This lady, I don't know. I was about to call her chick. This lady, she's not a wrestler. She has no relevance to the storyline. He brought her in, proposed to her. Yay, happy, good for you guys. That's the only thing I could figure is that they just thought this would be a good story. I don't know.
But let me put this idea out there. Leo getting a match against Roderick Strong for the NXT North American Championship. I think that would be a good step up in a good feud for Leo to be involved in next.
Okay, he better win.
Glenn, fix your background. This is
what? I'm sorry, my background offends you, Justin.
It's Fred Durst hovering around your face.
Hey, we celebrate the greats on this podcast. Yeah. Let me see what else I got here. Okay.
And have them on our podcast.
Yes.
I will get Fred Durst on. He's a wrestling fan.
We need to get Fred Durst on this podcast. Oh my God. I just want the whole story about WrestleMania and the Undertaker American Badass entrance. And
that's what you're going to ask him. If I get Fred Durst on here, you're going to ask him what he thinks about the Undertaker at WrestleMania 17. That's what you're going to ask him.
I'm going to ask him, do they still keep in touch?
Hang on. Justin, what would you ask him?
I haven't thought about it, but it wouldn't be that.
What should Glenn ask? What would you normally
think? It wouldn't be that.
No?
It's Fred Durst.
Actually, let me tell you, I listened to
Fred. Was Eminem correct? Did you and Carson Daly really have to argue over Christina Aguilera? Like, I want to know that stuff.
I'm going to give the most random plug.
No, here's a real one.
Yeah.
Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit performed at WrestleMania 19. They performed a song called Crack Addict.
Yes.
That song never made it to a Limp Bizkit album. I want to know why.
Have you listened to the song? I think it's pretty obvious.
I don't even remember it.
Go back and watch Mania 19. It's called Crack Addict. It's a very good song, and they never put it out on. It's a good song, Glenn. Stop.
And I love Limp Bizkit. I don't remember.
Exactly, Matt. I'll text you after the show. I'll send you a link. It's a very valid question.
Speaking of Fred Durst, Josh Peck from Drake and Josh fame does a podcast called Curious. He had Fred Durst on as a guest a few months ago. I listened to that episode. It completely changed my opinion of Fred Durst. He started talking about Red Hat as a character that he played, and he was like purposefully a troll all those years trying to.
Yes.
I mean, it was very interesting to get to know a little bit about Fred Durst, the person, not the persona,
and be as controversial as possible. Yeah.
That being said, Wes Borland is still one of the most talented guitar players in any band ever.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Limp Bizkit without him was a joke. Anyhow,
Nikki Six over him, but continue.
But the album they put out without Wes Borland.
What?
The album they put out with the first one they put out with
Results may
Chocolate
vary.
Flavor, blah 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 blah. I forget the rest.
Results may vary was the one.
Results, yes.
Oh, all right. We need to move on. Let's go.
Okay. I mean, hey, Raj isn't here
Raj
tonight.
getting hot about this. Let's go.
Cameron Grimes versus Raul Mendoza. Let's talk about Cameron Grimes. How's this ring gear growing on you, Matt, with the hat and the James Storm reject gimmick he's rocking?
I think it's a cool look, but it's right. It's like James Storm's starter kit.
James Storm's starter kit.
So this was a short match. Raul Mendoza won, and afterwards Kushida was out there. He took Grimes's hat. The fans popped. Grimes was not happy, so Grimes versus Kushida. Book it. I'm sure it'll happen next week.
Okay. Kushida's another one. Like this gimmick, I could not stand it at first, but I now dig it for what it's worth.
Marty McFly.
Yeah, at first I was like, what the hell is this? But like, it's grown on me, I guess. He's good.
Did they ever explain that? Oh, so turnabout being fair play.
No.
You talk about AEW not explaining the Freddie Mercury thing.
No, not that I've seen or heard. No, I'm sure our fans will let us know though, but I've not seen it or heard it.
Although I don't want to diss somebody for standing Queen because Queen's awesome. Back to the Future is awesome.
Okay.
I love both of them, but the girl in AEW, I just no.
There's nothing I get out of that from Freddie Mercury. I just never.
She does not have one drop of the charisma that Freddie Mercury has.
Like honestly, I thought she was like a marching band like leader. You know, at the beginning of the parade that comes out with the stick and the
twirling a baton. Yes,
that's what I thought she was supposed to be. I swear to Christ, the first time I saw her.
Nah, I mean she had the mustache and
I didn't see that.
She had the mic stand, and Freddie's known for the mic with a stand. I got what she's doing. It's random.
He is. Kushida is the ultimate baby face, says Ubinj. Come on, guys, make your names better than that. I can't say that.
Right?
Hube NJH.
Yeah.
Is that Mick Foley in the profile picture? No,
he's a good fan. He writes us. He
yes
comes in our comments on Twitter. I see.
No,
I'm glad you keep track, man.
And I'm going to pose a weird theory here, and this might get into strange territory very quickly.
Oh boy!
But if you're an Asian wrestler wrestling for a U.S. audience, right,
mm-hmm.
and there are a lot of other Asian wrestlers on the roster, I would argue that a Queen cosplay or a Marty McFly cosplay, you're going to stand out because it instantly gives you something recognizable. Whereas fans, and I'm not saying that fans have a bias about this, but I'm saying fans might want to box you into that Asian wrestler category, and this allows you to have a persona.
Great, all valid points. Here's one. Why not pick the actual cosplay thing to play that's current instead of something from the 80s? Because it makes me think you're not really up on what's happening here as far as pop culture goes, and you're having to rely on things from the 80s.
She's 43. Who do you want her to? Who do you want her to cosplay? Billie Eilish? I mean, I don't know. It's just
okay. Again, I throw it out there. Billy Idol. How about that? If I come out as Billy Idol,
pay to see that.
You guys be like, what the bleep? This is weird.
Matt, you should just start taking indie dates doing terrible cosplay. With like the most random shit.
Back to the beginning. Him as Axl. If I could see Matt doing Axl Rose's monkey dance.
I bet you didn't know I dressed up as D. Snyder one Halloween.
I could absolutely see that.
Oh my God.
As an adult, or was this a childhood thing?
I can't say
adult. He was an adult.
No, the Stay Hungry album came out. I was very little.
Okay. No, that's adorable. Find those photos, post those on the Instagram. That'll go viral. Anyhow, we then had a vignette for NXT UK superstar Travis Banks, and they're really promoting Worlds Collide. So Worlds Collide is going to be the pay-per-view that happens Royal Rumble weekend instead of a takeover in January.
And that's going to become the norm, by the way.
Interesting. Are they going to give the winner an entry in the Rumble?
I don't know about that, but what I'm saying is because NXT is now
the third brand.
Right. The like Mania weekend, it's not going to be a takeover. They're going to start to put emphasis on UK, 205 Live, the other brands, and I think the normal pay-per-views that Raw and SmackDown would have allocated, they're going to give some that NXT is going to be on. So That's kind of the 2020 format, by the way.
We will see. Jackson Riker versus Travis Banks. Jackson out with Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake as far as the Forgotten Sons. Travis Banks picking up a win here.
Hate to see Gunner lose.
Yeah.
You know,
I just feel like this gimmick isn't getting them to the next level.
Yeah, but then physically, when you see them, when you saw them during the invasion, right?
Yeah,
like, they're the ones physically. I was like, okay, they can hang with the rest of this roster, physically speaking.
You know, I'll give credit to Nick Hausman, who I do the Winkley with during the day here. He actually had a good point on Sunday for TLC. There's an open challenge from the Viking Raiders for a tag team match, and we couldn't figure out who would answer it. Like other than Street Profits, which I think would be a fast pass. He thought maybe get an NXT team on there, and maybe Forgotten Sons would be somebody you could put on to challenge them for Sunday.
And lose?
Well, but they would lose, but I think even it would still be a rub just to have them, and you would
normally I would agree with you. Formulaic wise, that would make sense.
Yeah.
And if this was any other tag team than Viking Experience, whatever the hell they're called,
Raiders Experience, whatever.
Is it Viking Raiders again?
I think it's Viking Raiders.
Viking Raiders.
Those guys. How about that? Hashtag those guys.
Which why they couldn't be the War Raiders. And when AOP comes out, AOP's graphic on the screen talks about like war. I was under the impression that the Viking Raiders were that because Vince didn't want war, but then war is like AOP's thing says war is our peace.
Okay, but still, that's not them calling them by that name either. Though. They're not having to say it 55 times throughout a match.
Whatever.
I think Vince has selective logic and reasoning depending on the time of day.
No, Glenn. I don't have selective time. I'm about making movies.
Then we went from this to Mia Yim versus Dakota Kai. So a lot of build up here, a lot of story. Of course, Dakota beat down Mia, made her miss the women's War Games match back at the last takeover. This build tonight, right? I mean, Dakota full heel territory, definitely amplified look, amplified hair. Talk about 80s hair, really bringing it back with that amount of volume tonight. And these two just having a match that went out into the crowd. I mean, this was in the ring, out of the ring. Very brutal between the two of them, and Dakota Kai picking up a win and then beating Mia Yim up even more after. Good.
Great heat. Mia Yim is a good baby face. We all love her. So to do this to her, not only beat her, but then beat her senseless even after the match, actually drew the ire even more of the fans. Even the fans watching at home, I would argue. Mia Yim's a very good sympathetic character. So that's another one that you want to get that kind of steam on and heat on. And this was great. I usually tell you guys, like, when somebody turns heel, I hate the next time we see them. They're wearing, like, all black, and there's this huge change that happened to them overnight. But this works for her. For some reason, I don't know how to explain it to you. I felt it. I liked her look a lot.
She looks instantly comfortable in her skin. I mean, the criticism I've had with Bayley's heel turn, Bayley looked very unsure of herself as a heel for the first, 3 weeks.
Yes.
And their final bump they took was scary. So they did that back suplex through a table that broke. There was a table right next, a table or a ledge, I think it's a table, right next to it, that both Dakota and Mia's heads, back of their heads, cracked against the edge of that table. And it looked brutal. And then, I mean, you could even see, Mia Yim, as she was coming to, the fans are chanting, one more time. And she just very open. The camera picked it up, said, "Y'all are crazy." Like it looked pretty brutal. I was worried because they both came back, went through the table they're supposed to go through, but their heads just cracked on the edge of another table. It was,
I like that Mia was standing tall at the end of this, even though Dakota won the match. So I think, man, they can keep this going for a while. But I think, can you imagine if this is just the start of the feud between these two?
Yeah.
Very intense. This was very good. This probably was my favorite match I've seen this week so far between all the shows. I thought it was fantastic. If you don't watch all of NXT, go back and watch this tonight. Then we had Breezango versus the Singh brothers. Breezango out as doctors now. and picking up an easy win over the Sings.
I got nothing for this match.
I mean, good for them though, right? They went back to NXT. They're getting these little showcases.
Dude,
they're entertaining.
Outstanding talents. They're much better than this, and they get that stupid characters that gimmick they had to play, and I thought they pulled it off amazingly well on SmackDown. They deserve better than this.
And the Singh brothers fall in the same category. The Singh brothers are, I mean, they've been presented largely as just henchmen, with Jinder Mahal and just lackeys. But both of those guys can go. And they're both very charismatic and funny. Like, like they are. They just haven't been used.
There's nothing wrong with Prince Pretty. I don't understand. Why did they have to stop his character? His character was awesome.
I don't know.
Awesome character.
At least these guys got to wrestle a bit. I mean, to your point, Justin, the Singh brothers, certainly outside of the 24/7 title and some 205 Live time, they don't really get to have matches.
And they're I'm not saying they're tag team champions tomorrow, but they're better than what they've been They've been presented as just lackeys and just they've been part of the comical conga line that chases after the 24/7 title. They're better than that if you want to let them be. So.
And in fairness, to talk about weaknesses on brands, NXT's tag team division does need a bit of a rebuild still. And I think that Forgotten Sons, we have Breezango, we have the Singh brothers. Who else is there really? I mean, outside of Undisputed Era, who are the champions? I feel like all the tag teams got called up.
They did.
Yeah.
Next,
Kaden Carter versus Bianca Belair.
A lot of hair in this match. I really dug this tonight. I thought they both looked like $1 million. This was a really good match. Bianca Belair getting a win.
That's why I thought this was good.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I could watch her every week.
Absolutely. Justin, what do you think they do now? Okay, so now that there's no promotion, there's no getting called up. NXT is the third brand. Mm-hmm. Do you think they're gonna go deeper on this and just keep sustaining these women's stories? We also saw vignettes tonight from both Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley. I mean, this is kind of nice. We've got in tandem multiple women's storylines.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see them sustaining this with all these current characters?
I do, because I do think that NXT is going to get some ownership and responsibility to the pay-per-view schedule in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's not to say they're going to have exclusivity, but I do think you might see, hey, this particular pay-per-view and besides the majors, besides Rumble, Mania, whatever, I think they are going to be able to go deeper into the women's roster. I also think that we are getting closer to they are going to have a women's only show on the WWE Network.
Yes, they will.
That is going to have women from all the brands.
They have too many good talents now to show. They do have more than enough now.
And as we talk about on this podcast weekly,
it's always our favorite stuff generally.
It's the biggest bullet that WWE has to fire against head-to-head against AEW. So, and look, the WWE Network, having lost NXT to USA Network, the WWE Network has lost having some original programming. They have the Stone Cold interviews and they have the 24s and all the different the documentary specials and the podcast. But in terms of live wrestling, the WWE Network has lost that. So I do think in 2020, we're going to finally get a women's show. And so that's going to allow for them to go deeper in this.
I guarantee you guys we will. I've been saying this forever. But another additive, remember, would be the E channel eventually takes the women's wrestling show. It'd be a very good channel for it.
Hey, if there's money,
another one if they could figure a way to get on there somehow too.
Yeah. We close tonight with the number one contenders triple threat: Tommaso Ciampa versus Keith Lee versus Finn Balor. A very good triple threat match. A lot of nice interplay between the different movesets and competition. Finn Balor picking up the win. He's going to face Adam Cole next week for the NXT Championship. Do you think that foreshadows, Matt, the fact that it is Finn and not Keith Lee, that this is just going to be a great exhibition, but that title's not going anywhere on free television next week?
Maybe somebody breaks it up. You know what I mean? Something like that, maybe, because Finn can't lose either. And nor can Adam Cole. They cannot have Adam Cole drop this title. Not yet.
Yeah, this result was simultaneously on one hand it made sense. On the other hand, was really confusing. On the one hand, it's like, okay, I get Finn being the guy you go with. I mean, he's been the big splash who comes back to NXT. So you don't want to have him lose. You want to give him that number one. But at the same point, he's clearly a heel. Adam Cole is the heel head of the top heel faction. So it's like you have heel versus heel here. While the audience reacts to Adam Cole in a babyface manner, saying, Adam Cole, baby, he's still the heel in charge of a heel faction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of bizarre to me to have that as we have this heel versus heel. I mean, I'm all for shades of gray, but it's just a little bit odd.
I think it's gonna be an amazing match. Obviously, this is gonna be a really, really good match
for sure.
And that being said, do you think Rhea versus Shayna actually happens to a conclusive result on TV next week?
I say you pull the trigger completely. They have pulled the trigger on Rhea, obviously, but continue to pull that trigger. I guess she's got to be your champion. I don't know how she can't be your champion.
I agree with Matt, especially again if you look at the competition. The biggest thing AEW has next week with the women is Britt versus the alien gimmick or Chris.
Mm-hmm.
I forget last name. Yeah, so I'm sorry, but that's the biggest thing they have. Mm-hmm. So that I would make a definitive statement with NXT with their women's match next week.
We'll see. I think it's going to be a great show.
More than ready, more than capable to show the load as the top dog in the female division. She definitely is. And I would argue we're going to see she'll do a better job than Shayna did. I'm dead serious.
Well, I'll tell you with Shayna, and I know we've given her a lot of grief about her promos and some of her characterization, but tonight I was in a crowded room watching NXT, and when they started that promo, when Shayna was running through every woman that she beat and they were showing the clips, it's like everybody phones down, paying attention. I mean, that tonight was probably the best Shayna recap video they could have done to hype up this match for next week.
WWE does a great job with that. They're the best video packages there's ever been. That WWE does it better than anybody, and they always will.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could have been New Clan with that exciting video package too.
Well,
to do with it.
So that was NXT this week. Let's hit a few quick news stories. WWE has trademarked some old WCW and ECW pay-per-view names.
Yeah, this is fun. So obviously, Cody is, pulled out Bash to the Beach and a few things from nostalgia that AEW is going to use. Well, WWE went on a trademark spree. And as of December 6th, I'll just run through it really fast and we can have comments afterwards. Fully Loaded, Living Dangerously, Heat Wave, Anarchy Rules, World War III, Chi-Town Rumble, Sin, Sold Out, New Blood Rising, Hog Wild, Capital Combat, Road Wild, Greed, Uncensored, Spring Stampede, The Day of, Mayhem, Beach Blast, Massacre on 34th Street, Hardcore Heaven, and Eat, Sleep, Conquer, Repeat. So a combination of WCW and ECW events and names. So, look, Greed was the last WCW pay-per-view days before Vince bought WCW. I don't think there's a lot of value in naming a current pay-per-view Greed. This, to me, obviously screams WWE just wanting to lock up, again, things they have in their video library doesn't want Cody and AEW using. The only one that strikes me as, hey, you might have something here, World War III, for you young fans, WCW did this in the mid-'90s. It was 3 rings. It was like a Royal Rumble type of thing. 3 rings, 60 talents. The fact that WWE has Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live, and then however many other brands they launch, I think there would be something to having a World War III event, even if it was just for the net, just to, something. I don't know. I think that's something there, but kind of fun that they're trademarking all these things again.
I wish Vince McMahon was still an on-screen character so he could say, "I own the trademark on Greed."
And Sin.
Yes. And then lastly, Lana calling out CM Punk, ?
Yeah, so CM Punk made his return to the WWE Backstage show on FS1 Tuesday night. I'll try to paraphrase this. Punk had he pitched his storyline for how to take this Rusev, Lana, Bobby Lashley story. Basically, I'll just try to sum it up. He basically says Lashley eventually leaves Lana because he's sick of her. Lashley and Rusev become a tag team. That's their common familiarity, is that they can't stand Lana. Lana finds a new tag team. They can't stand her. So you have new tag team versus Rusev and Lashley at WrestleMania. Lana's in the shark cage. Loser has to deal with Lana. CM, yeah, right. Here's where it gets controversial. CM Punk tweets, loser keeps Lana match. Just booked you through Mania. Chica, you're welcome.
Wait,
Lana.
Hold on. One before that, he did say on backstage also, said, and when they go to Saudi Arabia again, I've got some really interesting ideas for where they can take this.
Yes, thank you, Glenn. Thank you. He did. He left an open-ended that they had some Saudi Arabia booking. So he tweets this in CM Punk's temperament. Well, Lana did not take great exception to this, especially to the Chica. She wrote, I know you've been away from WWE for several years. Perhaps moving forward, you will favor WWE and FS1 by refraining from misogynistic comments like Chica. Thank you. Kind of a weak reply. But,
Chica, what's
Chica? I guess that's Chica.
Spanish for girl, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was.
She felt that it was disrespectful. I guess she wanted him to refer to her as ma'am. I guess. I don't know. Chica.
I'm being serious. I thought Chica meant girl.
It does mean.
It does.
Although I will say I've been corrected on this before because I
almost said chick. I almost said chick or chicks earlier. I think it's that.
Chick, you can't be saying that either no more.
Like I almost said chicks earlier and I had to stop myself.
I just feel like a good boy. You should. But Chica, if it means girl, I don't see what.
Because there's that thing where I do this a lot. I refer to women as girls because I feel like I'm 19 and we're all 19, and I just
Glenn, you're like the best women advocate.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
You speak glowingly about the women.
I get corrected sometimes by the women in my life when I say, "Oh, that girl from so and so." You mean you mean that woman? And I'm like, "Yes, woman. I recognize she's in her 40s." But to me, we're all boys and girls. We're just all kids trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I think this was Lana's weakest.
Say dude for guy all the time.
Right.
Guys, gals.
Look, I'm a Lana fan, but I'll be honest. I think this was her. I think this was CM Punk. Because CM Punk, I didn't say this. Punk in his comments even said, I think Rusev's getting tired of being on screen with Lana. Meaning, like, he's probably tired of the storyline. I think this is Lana reacting. I think Punk pushed some buttons on Lana on a personal level. I think this was just her attempt to try to, slam back at him.
Well, but plus you have to escalate, Matt. If somebody says something about you that's in wrestling, like it's one thing if they say something nice, then you tweet out or something. You're like, oh, hey, I'm a good sport. I take the joke. But if someone like gives you some shit as a professional wrestler at heart and on Twitter, isn't it almost your responsibility to respond back and give as good as you get?
Still active wrestler?
I would even say, even your stage now, if somebody tried to shade you a little bit, wouldn't you feel the need to?
No. I'm running a 16 city with 16,000 people. I'm responsible for it. I'm doing real things, not fake fighting.
Okay, but if you were still wrestling, absolutely, though, right?
Oh, my God. I would verbally gut them alive, yes.
What if Lana was one of your 16,000 people?
No, I'm a public servant. No.
Can't play favorites.
What if she voted for you?
Even more reason you can't. You can't do that. No, nope.
There you have it, folks. That's all we got for this week. We're going to be back Friday to talk about SmackDown on Fox. Until then, he is at Justin LaBar on Twitter. He is at BP Matt Morgan. I am at Glenn Rubenstein. Please follow me. I'm just going to make it overt because Matt hates it so much.
And remember, give him lots of likes and retweets.
I don't care about the likes and retweets. I'm just trying to boost my follower count a little bit more. Anyhow,
what's the point of them following you if they're not going to like or retweet you?
That's true. Twitter is my medium for comedy and this podcast. It's all I have in the world.
Well, buckle up because they're going to be taking everyone's likes away very soon.
Yeah. The man cracking down. Anyhow, we'll get you back here Friday night on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.